Have you ever felt invisible, as if no one can see you, no matter how loudly your heart is crying out? That's exactly how I felt every single day. The world just kept moving so fast around me. Feet passed by, cars rushed past, but not a single eye ever stopped for me. I was just a small, hungry cat, cold, weak, and completely forgotten under the pouring rain. My fur was dirty and matted. My body shivered constantly. All I wanted was a little warmth, or maybe just a single hand that wouldn't push me away. People say cats are strong, and maybe that's true. But even the strongest hearts eventually break when they feel like no one cares. I would wait under an old park bench, just watching the city lights fade out one by one. My stomach growled, my paws ached, and my hope, well, it was almost gone. But something was about to change. Something I never ever dared to dream of. Stay with me until the end of this story, because I promise you what happened next will absolutely melt your heart. You see, I wasn't always alone. I have faint memories of soft hands, a warm room, and a gentle voice that used to call me baby. But one day, that voice just faded away. A door closed, and it never opened for me again. At first, I waited for days that slowly turned into weeks. I kept thinking, maybe they'll come back. Maybe they just forgot me for a little while. But no one ever came back. The streets became my home, though they never once felt like one. I'd sleep near overflowing trash cans and wake up to loud, scary noises and biting cold winds. Sometimes I would try to follow people, just hoping someone might stop. But they never looked down. They just walked faster, as if I didn't even exist. I learned to eat whatever I could find. Dry leaves, old stale bread, and sometimes nothing at all. The rain would soak me to the bone, and the sun would burn my thin fur. The nights were so long and so lonely, I'd just watch the warm glow in people's windows, see the doors close, and wonder what it felt like to be inside. Maybe I thought I just wasn't meant to be loved again. Still, every single night before I closed my tired eyes, I would whisper to the stars, "Please, just give me one more chance." The days passed, and they all looked the same, grey, empty, and silent. My paws hurt from walking so much, just looking for a safe place. My stomach was always twisted with hunger. Every time I found even a tiny piece of food, bigger, stronger cats would fight me for it. I was just too weak to win. Sometimes people would throw stones at me to scare me away. I never understood why. I wasn't trying to hurt anyone. I just wanted to live. I just wanted a little bit of kindness. There were moments when I thought help had arrived. A child once smiled at me and held out his hand. My heart jumped with hope, but his mother quickly pulled him away. "Don't touch that dirty cat," she said, and just like that, they were gone. My fur grew thinner, and my body became lighter. I could practically hear my own bones move when I walked. I found a little corner near a store to rest. People passed by every day. I'd watch their shoes, their bags, their laughter, but none of it was for me. Each night, I'd whisper, maybe tomorrow, but tomorrow always looked exactly the same as yesterday. I started to believe that no one would ever really see me again. That day started just like every other one. A grey sky, a cold wind, and mostly empty streets. I was curled up beside a brick wall, just too tired to even move. My eyes stayed half open, watching the world blur around me. Then I heard footsteps. They were slow, gentle, not rushed and loud like all the others. A pair of shoes stopped right in front of me. I didn't even lift my head, I was just too weak. But then I heard a voice. It was so soft, so kind. Hey there, little one. No one had spoken to me like that in such a long time. I wanted to trust it, but fear held me completely still. People had hurt me before. What if this was the same? Then came the smell of real food. It was warm, fresh, and it smelled safe. A small hand gently placed it near me, and the person stepped back, just waiting, not forcing me, not shouting, just quietly waiting. I took one bite, and then another. My whole body started to tremble, but not from fear this time. It was from the overwhelming feeling of being cared for again. When I finally looked up, I saw her eyes. They were so gentle, and they were full of a love I had completely forgotten existed. She reached her hand out slowly, whispering, "You're safe now," and for the very first time in forever, I believed it. The world felt completely different after that day. It was warm, it was quiet, and it was safe. She took me to a place that smelled clean and soft. I was scared at first. There were bright lights, strange hands, and new sounds. But every touch was gentle. Every voice spoke softly. They wrapped me in a warm towel, carefully cleaned my fur, and fed me warm milk. My eyes closed, and for the first time in months, I slept without fear. Days turned into weeks. My body grew stronger. My fur started to shine again. I learned the sound of her footsteps, the happy tone of her laugh, and every time she called my name, I would come running. She'd smile and say, "Good boy." Sometimes I'd just sit by the window and watch the rain fall outside. I remembered the cold streets, the pain, the terrible loneliness. But now I had a home. I had someone who saw me not as a stray, not as a burden, but as family. I didn't need to whisper to the stars anymore. My wish had already come true. If I could speak your language, I would only say one thing: thank you. Thank you to all of the people who stop, even for just a second, to show kindness. You may not know it, but that single moment can save a life. There are so many more like me out there alone, hungry, and just waiting for someone to care. You don't need to do something huge. A little bit of food, a small, safe shelter, even just a kind word. It all matters because love doesn't need to be big. It just needs to be real. And when you give it to someone who's forgotten what love even feels like, you become their entire world. They say animals forget quickly, but that's just not true. We never forget the hand that reached out when the rest of the world turned away. You might forget one rescue, but we will never ever forget being rescued. If my story touched your heart, please share it. Because somewhere out there, another little soul is waiting for a moment of kindness, just like I was. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe for more rescue stories that remind us all how powerful compassion can be.